Welcome to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust. From home selling tips to investing, this is the talk show that will help you make the most money when selling your most valuable asset and save the most money when buying. Now here are your hosts, Dave McKay, along with Wally Kerr, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty in Oklahoma City.
Well, good morning, Wally. How you doing this Saturday?
I'm doing great, Dave. Got no Cindy here with me today.
Yes.
And she's typically here for every show. She'll be back next week, but we've got a guest on today. I'm doing great here on Saturday morning. I kind of hopped right into it. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing fantastic. The show, as always, is brought to you by Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage and Best Protect Roofing and Construction. And like you said, our guest, Chris Doak, will be joining us this hour.
He will. We're going to talk about several segments today, Dave, including, let's start with Chris's segment. It'll be about midway through our show. Programs and down payment options to ease the pain. Because, Dave, what I'm hearing from everyone is they just feel pinched with affordability today.
Yes.
Housing prices are high, interest rates have gone up, property taxes have gone up, property insurance. Wow, how do you buy a home today without feeling the pinch?
Yes.
And we've got some conversation with Chris Doak on that today. Also, Dave, we'll talk about transparency when selling your home and getting an inspection up front. And we'll talk about the benefits of that and how it probably will make your home worth more money in the eyes of a buyer. Also, we'll have some fun today, and we're going to talk about why high net worth individuals are purchasing secondary homes. Are they doing it just because they've got the money? Maybe not. And we'll talk about that today. Also, Dave, 5 things to consider when you're buying and selling a home at the same time. We'll have a lot of fun today. A great show. Looking forward to it. Glad to be here with you today.
Great. We'll be right back after this.
The market is shifting. Do you know what to do? If you're selling a home, you need to realize that market demand is changing, and it's changing now. More homes are coming on the market than homes that are actually selling. So the inventory is going up. What does rising inventory mean? Prices can soften. It's important you get on the train right now and understand what you need to do to sell a home. First of all, my guaranteed home sale program will create more demand for your home because I can buy someone else's home so that they can buy yours. If you're thinking about selling by owner, I can create more demand for your home than you can ever create on your own. I'm Wally Kerr, and I believe in aggressive marketing. My wife and I have done this for 36 years together, and we now have a team of 28 people. If you'd like to create more demand for your home so that your home will sell faster and for top dollar, give me a call today at 405-330-4000 at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I'd love to meet with you and discuss a strategy and plan for getting your home sold. Call me at 330-4000. I look forward to talking to you myself.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758. Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233. Equal housing lender.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
Okay, Wally, let's jump right into it. And we don't have a funny story. You mentioned funny real estate facts, so this should be interesting.
Yeah, I thought we'd just throw some fun stuff in here today. So here's some things that maybe you know, maybe you don't. First of all, Dave, a creaking house is actually related to temperature, not age.
Okay.
So creaking and groaning isn't necessarily a sign of old age. House noises are usually caused by fluctuating humidity and temperature, also called thermal expansion and contraction. So you know how you try to shut that door at home that's wood and it's raining outside. It's been raining for 3 days and you wonder why.
Yes.
And, of course, it's expanded because of all the moisture outside.
Sure.
So I thought that was interesting. Now, how about this one, Dave? Brass doorknobs can actually disinfect themselves. So I guess when we talk about updating homes, maybe you shouldn't take those brass doorknobs off and put on brushed nickel. The reason many doorknobs are made of brass is because of something known as what's called an oligodynamic effect. Unvarnished brass objects can actually self-disinfect, proving especially useful on frequently touched surfaces. Yeah, that one's going to leave your head spinning this morning.
The germs just fall off.
Dave, a castle in France may cost less than a teardown in Los Angeles. So you could become the proud owner of an 18th century French castle for a little over $1 million.
Okay.
But for the same amount, you might not get much more than a home that needs an overhaul in L.A.
Isn't that crazy?
Depending on the market. And here's the last one today. Homeowners used to burn their mortgage documents after paying off their house.
I've heard of that.
Now, I watch MASH, and I remember when Colonel Potter has the mortgage burning party.
Yes.
And his wife sends it to BJ, and they arrange this house burning party. Here's why. Scottish homeowners might paint their front door red after making the last payment on their mortgage, but homeowners in the early 20th century had mortgage burning parties. So there's where that history comes from. Just some fun facts for the show today.
Okay, I dig it. Hey, this week's House Talk segment is transparency when selling. It's October. Now, we're not talking about the Invisible Man or, like you said, a ghost story here.
No.
Is transparency when selling.
Not what I had in mind, because it is Halloween time. So happy Halloween to your family this week. Hope you have fun and be safe when trick-or-treating with the kids or the grandkids.
Yes.
I can imagine a ghastly outcome if we go down that road. So, Dave, have you ever gone out and looked at maybe a used car on a lot, and you walk up on the window sticker, it says as is? Now, how does that make you feel when you're looking at a car and it says as is?
I think the lot probably got that as a trade-in, and they're just going to turn it around without inspecting it and sell it to me, and I don't know what the problems might be.
Probably so many reasons people buy new cars, right?
Yes.
First, it's the new car smell,
yes,
right?
we love that.
Or the warranties that come with it.
Absolutely.
Wow, there's a lot of cars today that have transmission warranties, engine warranties, maybe the exterior body warranty.
Sure.
A lot of these cars that seem to be very, very popular, whether it's Kias or Hyundais, seem to have amazing warranties. You hear about them being 100,000 miles. So, and then sometimes, obviously, when you buy a new car, you might get a better finance rate from a dealer versus your bank for a used car. But more importantly, I think a lot of people buy new cars because it's less likely to have unknown issues or worry that maybe somebody's abused it.
And I know that used car prices are pretty high right now. You're just willing to pay more for the new car based on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I know I could just drive it right off the lot, and I'm the person that's driving it first.
So, Dave, the experience is similar when buying a home. So the older the car, the more concerns you have, right? We just talked about that. And even a 3-year-old car, you could have concerns, right? Home buyers, Dave, want to feel confident about homes just the same way. We kind of went down a long road there talking about cars.
Sure.
But I want homeowners to realize that buyers want to feel confident up front that once they contract to buy your home, that it's not going to be a lemon. You know what a lemon car is, right?
Yeah, it's you buy that car, all of a sudden have problems, and they didn't expect it, and you drove it just a couple 1,000 miles, and things are falling off on it. You don't want to buy your house and be in it for just about a year and everything's breaking and stuff. So that's a really good analogy with the cars and the homes.
Well, and so with a car, you and I know you can go find a Carfax on it, right?
Yes.
You can get a Carfax on a home.
Okay.
It's not called a Carfax.
A home fax.
A home fax. It's called a home inspection.
Yeah.
And so our segment today is talking about transparency. So why not be transparent and exhibit up front that you want to know yourself, and you want the buyer to know what issues exist so that when you reach an agreement with the buyer, let's face it, the buyer doesn't want the deal to fall through.
No.
They're making their plans. Maybe they're moving here from California. Maybe they've sold their home and they've got to close in 30 days. So they're searching frantically here in Oklahoma for a home to replace their current home. Now they go in and they look at homes online and they see home number 1, home number 2, home number 3. Wow, look at this one over here. Home number 4 has already been inspected, and the owner is actually offering a copy of the inspection report that they paid for to show everything that the home inspector could come up with. So when you order a report from an inspector, share it up front. Everybody's pursuing the deal killers that could occur. And again, this really helps a buyer who's trapped in that vacuum where they don't want to go purchase a home. They're looking at them online, wondering what could be wrong with this home. This home's 25 years old. This home is 35 years old. Here's one that's 50 years old. Do I just automatically want to avoid that home that's 50 years old because I am assuming that there could be more problems? How would you feel about a used car? I mean, I feel better about buying a 3 or 4 year old used car as opposed to buying a used car that looks great and is low mileage, but it's 17 years old.
Well, as a seller of that used car or just of a used home, I know you're interested in it. You want to know what's going on with it. I want to be transparent because I want to sell it once. I want to sell my home once. I want to find that buyer, sell it, move on, and not have those deal killers as opposed to having to put it back on the market with a failed contract, and then Zillow says it's back on the market, and now you go down the road of how long is it going to be on the market now because there was a deal killer.
And the day in the life of a real estate agent or broker. And we're going to start a series on that soon, too.
Okay.
But since you said that, Dave, what happens is when I have a deal that falls through and I have to put a seller's home back on the market, maybe they didn't get a pre-inspection done, maybe just something came up. Other agents will call me and say, hey, Wally, I noticed that home was under contract. Why did it fall through? And if you have to admit that there were inspection issues, that runs up another red flag.
Yes.
The other agent might think, maybe I don't want to go get my buyer involved in this home at all because it sounds like it might have some issues. So, you know, transparency works, Dave, in most facets of life. You know, parties working together toward a common goal. And it really applies in real estate. No surprises, and disclosing what you know with a report that you can make available to a buyer up front as opposed to after the fact just makes good sense, especially in a changed market like this one where there are fewer buyers, more homes on the market, and once you put your home under contract, like you just said, you don't want to lose your home sale.
Well, this is a great tip and a great idea when selling your home. And now we're going to take a break here, but coming up next, Wally's Weekly Wisdom, what not to say when selling your home. So we know what to do. Now we know what not to say. Stick around for that coming up next.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. From knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758. Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233, Equal Housing Lender.
Buying or selling a home? Is your older home having issues in the crawl space or attic? Is your new home about to reach the end of its 1-year warranty? Todd Stewart, owner of Oklahoma Home Inspection Service, has been serving residential and commercial clients since 1985. He will give you the confidence of knowing your building systems are safe and operating as they should. Enjoy the peace of mind you deserve. Call Oklahoma Home Inspection Service today at 405-366-8889. That's 405-366-8889.
I'm Wally Kerr, and if you didn't know, there are 6 big reasons why homeowners like you choose to list their home for sale with us. First is our offer to sell your home at a price agreeable to you, or we'll buy it ourselves. How can we do this? It's reason number 2. We have hundreds of pre-vetted home buyers waiting for their dream home to come available. That home may be yours. I'll show you our list of buyers when we meet. Our partnership with Zillow is reason number 3. Zillow chose our team to help dozens of ready home buyers each and every month. Reasons 4 and 5, MLS data shows that our listings have sold faster and for more money on average for 4 years in a row. But don't take my word for it. We have hundreds of online reviews at both Google and Zillow. See what our customers say about us. I'm a 35-year broker with over 4,000 home closings. My team and I are ready to work for you. Call me at 405-330-3000 at your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, or simply visit wallyhasthebuyers.com. I look forward to talking to you myself. Call me at 330-3000. 330-3000.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
Well, Wally, we've made it to part 5 of things you probably shouldn't say when selling your home. And these have been some great tips. And go back to wallytalkshouses.com and you can get the other 4 episodes leading up to this one. And all of them have great tips on not what to say. On not what to say?
On what not to say. I knew what you meant to say,
Yes.
Dave. So I like the way it's arranged online at Wally Talks Houses. Not only can you see the topics, but they do them in order. So if you're looking to listen to these previous 4 episodes about what not to say when selling your home, you can about figure it's a 1-hour show. And if you see it looks like it's halfway through the show, you know we're going to talk about that around 7:30. So
Yes.
I hope you enjoy the shows. You can pick them up at every major podcast platform. Also, Google Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty Kerr Team, and we'll pop up there on the podcast. So here's my closers on our 5-part series, and I'm going to save the big one for last, okay, Dave?
Okay.
I would never say, and by the way, Dave, you're a super friendly guy, and I could see, of course, I was your realtor, but if you were selling your home, I'd probably say, Dave, you're super friendly. You can stick around at your home and wait until the buyers arrive with their realtor or with us to see your home. But, Dave, I probably would recommend that you don't talk to the buyers. Say hello to them, but don't get into a deep conversation because they might just ask you, why are you selling your home? And you might let out something that you really don't want them to know. Here's 3 more examples of what you might not say.
Okay.
First of all, home prices are up, interest rates are up, taxes and insurance are up. Some people are getting even higher utilities. Have you noticed utility costs have also gone up?
Yes.
And I'm sure they'll continue. I wouldn't say our utility bills are through the roof. I probably wouldn't say that. Energy efficient home features are all the rage nowadays.
Yes.
We've talked about energy efficiency here on the show and about federal tax credits that are available for putting Energy Star equipment into your home and making upgrades. I think what we looked at back a couple of months ago, Dave, is you can get up to $3,200 per year for 10 years in a row.
I dig it.
For doing qualified improvements, windows, doors, HVAC, water heaters, insulation. There were all sorts of things that qualified. You can look at that online, type in tax credits available for home renovations. So it just makes sense that when you consider that homeowners spend on average about $2,000 a year on their energy bills, that a lot of people are looking for energy efficiency, but some home buyers still overlook those utility costs when they go house hunting. So the very last thing you want to do is draw any attention to the fact that your gas or electric bills are really high. It's probably not one you would say as often as you might say, this house is just more than we can maintain. And I probably wouldn't use words like that. You know, no one wants to buy a money pit. So if you're selling a clear fixer-upper, don't mention maintenance costs to a home buyer. You know, avoid talking about repairs that you just never got around to making, or like repairing the bathtub caulking, or big projects like replacing the 20-year-old water heater. It's just all reasons for homeowners to think twice about either making an offer or maybe making a lower offer.
Sure.
Here's the big one you never want to say. Okay. We have bad neighbors.
Oh,
I don't like my neighbors. My neighbors are noisy. My neighbors have 3 or 4 dogs in the backyard and they're barking all the time.
Yes.
Probably don't need to spend a whole lot of time on this subject. I can't remember ever having a really bad neighbor, but I certainly have visited with many people who were selling their homes over the years and said, I need to get away from my neighbors. I've got a bad neighbor. I don't get along with my neighbor. I'd never use those words. So be careful in what you say when you're selling your home if you encounter the buyer before they've contracted for your home.
And Wally, as we move on to conquering home affordability, it's programs and down payment options to ease the pain. I do want to remind people that you can go back and listen to our 39 shows that are posted online at wallytalkshouses.com. And what's great, Wally, is you guys have all the different topics there, so you can browse by topics to see which show you want to listen to. You can download it to listen at any time on all the major podcast platforms. And again, just go to wallytalkshouses.com.
We got 3 or 4 topics each day, and if you multiply that times 39 shows, do you know we've actually had over 135 different topics that we've talked about throughout our shows, Dave. So there's a big library of material that hopefully will benefit our listeners. give you some knowledge that you don't already have in real estate, and also be entertaining for you,
and
too.
a couple of those are marked because you want to go back and listen to this guy who joins us right now. It's Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. Welcome.
Dave, thanks so much for having me. Wally, thanks for having me. I was just thinking, I can't believe, I don't know another show like this that provides the education on the housing industry and real estate. Kudos to you for having a vision for this.
You know, Chris, it was Cindy that said, I really think that with 36 years of knowledge and experience that you should have a radio show. That's when I contacted the station and said, what would this look like and what could we do? Dave and I are really glad, and you, Chris, because you came a couple of mornings very early, to get away from our 7 a.m. show on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
And now have this 11 o'clock slot is really appreciated. We're glad we were able to grow into that. It's great to have others who are experts in the field, as we've obviously become over 36 years like you, to come join us and share your knowledge and expertise too. So I appreciate your comment very much.
So I got some questions for Chris here, and Wally has educated me on this in the last couple of months, and I've been seeing it everywhere in the news, and home affordability has really hit a crunch for home buyers. I know that home values are really high. There's high interest rates, the increasing cost of both property taxes, homeowners insurance. It just feels like it's a runaway train. It's this boulder rolling downhill.
Right.
How do we stop it? And how do we create an affordable environment for people to get into new homes?
Yeah, great questions, Dave. And I do think this is affordability. We haven't been challenged like this in decades, maybe ever so before. And so I think it's a huge topic. Let's have a discussion about some ways to still buy a house and not break the bank. You know, a reminder, how do we get in an affordable way, but also remembering one of the best, if not the best investment someone could make is real estate. So just having that in mind as we talk about affordability as well.
And as you say that, Chris, I'm seeing the investors back buying homes again, Dave and Chris. And here's what's interesting, and I'll just put lease rates, that rental rates are dropping a little bit, but you see investors buying.
Yeah.
And so my question is, why is that happening? And I think a lot of listeners would think that too, but as the investors are buying or building more apartment complexes, which is going on here in Oklahoma City also.
A lot of multifamily.
When there's more inventory, that market's going to soften a little bit. But why are people leasing? Because they don't want to buy and they feel the pinch, of affordability right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that they are feeling that pinch in a big way. And I think from an investor perspective, they're also looking long term, that they know right now that there's better deals out there today than there will be in 6 months or 8 months when the rates go down.
100%.
And so they know that right now they can buy better today than they can tomorrow, which should tell us if we need to buy or want to buy, now is still a good time, knowing that we can refinance and reduce payment when rates do go down.
And there are really, really good options available. Let's talk through some of those, Chris. We've talked about buy downs here over the past. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to add a little example in here that I thought about. Let's say I'm a home buyer, and let's say that rates today, let's just say for a minute they're 7.5%.
Okay.
And I don't like those.
Sure.
I don't want 7.5%.
Sure.
I want a 5.5% rate. So on a $250,000 loan amount, if I borrow for 30 years, the difference between a 7.5% interest rate and a 5.5% interest rate is $329 a month.
Yep.
So there's this thing called a 2-1 buy down.
Yeah.
And to make that in its simplest form, think about a little chest of drawers. There's 12 drawers inside this chest. And so in each drawer, that $329 difference between 7.5% and 5.5% is a payment of $1,419 a month.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like $1,746 a month at 7.5%.
Right.
So I need somebody to supplement that house payment for me.
Yeah.
So I go to a home seller and I say, I can afford your home and I can afford to buy it, but I can't do it at 7.5.
Right.
So if you'll give me some money so that I can use that to supplement my payment, I can afford to buy your house now. So there's these 12 drawers.
Yep.
And in each of those 12 drawers, the owner says, for the first year, I'm going to help supplement your payment. I'm going to put $329 in that drawer. And when your payment is due for the first year, every month we're going to open that drawer, take out $329. The lender is holding that money, and they're going to supplement your payment so that your payment is like you're paying 5.5%, but it's being supplemented by the lender.
Yeah, the seller's subsidizing each month
for a year.
For every year.
And then the next year, it's going to be supplemented. It's going to move up a point
to 6.5%.
So it's like a 6.5% loan. So we're going to reload those drawers again. And in each drawer, there's $168 in each drawer, which is what the payment would be at 6.5%. Same thing. Buyer goes through on the second year, and on those 12 payments, they're making that payment at 6.5%, and the lender is supplementing that. So that's an example of a 2-1 buy down where the rate is going to be 7.5% come year 3. But like you said a minute ago, the buyer can go refinance, right?
Yeah, that's a great piece about this. It's called a temporary rate buy down. Okay, they would be locked in this scenario at 7.5%. They wouldn't realize that rate until year 3. So year 1 is 5.5. Year 2 is 6.5. This is the interesting piece, Wally. In 16 years of originating mortgages, we've never utilized this from a lender perspective.
We never needed it, did we?
We never needed it. And so it is a great function. And I'll just say, in that scenario, yes, the seller is going to subsidize. They're going to give a lump sum and seller paid closing costs, and lender's going to hold it, and we're going to help subsidize the payment each month. And here's the cool piece. When the rates go down, and historically I don't think there's anyone out there that doesn't think they're going to be back down in, let's just say, mid-5s, just to be conservative.
I'm hearing that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think when it's time and the rates are back down there, in the middle of those 2 years of temporary rate reduction, and the rate goes down, they can then refinance. And let's say they still have some money in those drawers. Here's the cool piece. That money doesn't get left in those drawers. It actually gets applied to the balance of their loan, and they still get that loan, but it pays that balance down when they go and refinance.
Okay, you're saying if there's 24 drawers there, we had $329 in 12. We had another $168. Now, a year and a half from now, the buyer says, I don't ever want to go to that 7.5% rate. Rates are now 5 3/4. They can go refinance, but what's left in those drawers, they don't lose that money.
They don't lose that money, and that's a huge deal. And so that's a big piece. And then the other piece, too, is obviously we're qualifying them on the worst-case scenario. We know that they can qualify at the 7.5, and I think that's important to know. It's like we're not qualifying them at the lower rate. We're qualifying them at the higher rate. It is a phenomenal option, and I'm just going to – we don't need to go into the details of this, but I would just say – I like 4.5 more than 5.5, and so there is that option out there for the 3-2-1 buy down. We don't need to get in that weeds if you don't want to on that, but that is
I agree. It is possible to start below 5 today. What that would mean is somebody's got to pay more money to make that happen.
Money.
Chris, can you go in and actually combine some of these seller-paid buy-downs, and can you also do those with these things called down payment assistance to get in for less money up front?
Yeah, good question. So down payment assistance is not coupled with the temporary rate buy-down. Okay, so that is not an option, but you can absolutely still have a reduced down payment, like a 3% conventional or a 5% conventional, and utilize this temporary rate buy down, or an FHA or VA no down payment, rural development no down payment. You can take advantage of the temporary rate buy down with those loan programs.
So let's look at that again. So typically an FHA loan is a 3.5% down payment. I know there's an FHA program called the Native American program, I believe that's got a reduced down payment, doesn't it?
It has a reduced down payment, 2.25 on down payment requirement there.
And so you've got to have a Native American card. Is that correct?
Enrolled with certain tribes, yes.
Okay, good. Now, you also mentioned, I think there's a lot of listeners that believe that to do a conventional loan, they have to put 10 or 20% down. You want to hit that real quick for us?
Total misnomer. And so Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have been more aggressive than normal in that they've provided a very good 3% down payment option. And not only that, if you make under a certain amount, your rates and your mortgage insurance, you can get better rates on those. And so that's a huge advantage. We do a lot of those called Home Ready or Home Possible. That is a really good option. And the reason it's a good option, and Wally, we see this a lot, you know how it used to be like, hey, everybody said you got to put 20% down. You never want to pay mortgage insurance. And I would just say some very savvy financial folks I've dealt with over the last number of years, you see a lot more people doing 10% down or 5% down because they want to hold their money and go invest it, make more in the market because mortgage insurance is so cheap now. And that is a huge change back in the day when it was really expensive, you for sure didn't want to pay it.
I didn't realize it'd gotten so much more affordable.
It is so much more affordable.
You know, it's normally the client that I'm working with that works with you on that.
That's right.
So, Dave, I want to throw one back at you because we kind of cut you out.
I want to break this down just for me as simple as possible. And I want to buy a $300,000 home. Now, I want to do the 10% down and get assistance with that. The seller is going to pay the closing cost. Okay, but I'm interested in the 2-1 buy down. I want to go down to 5.5%.
Yeah.
And we mentioned $329. You mentioned, Wally. That is close to $4,000, shy of $4,000 in a year that I could save on that.
Right.
What do I have to do? Can I do that myself? Can I do the buy down? Does it have to go through the seller? Now, if I want to do it myself, people are probably asking the question right now, okay, how much do I have to put up front or spend to save that on the back end?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we typically don't see the buyer doing that because all you're doing is prepaying the interest. Okay. So the cost of it is just the interest that you're not paying over that time. I guess if they did have cash and they wanted to use that cash and reduce their increase their cash flow by reducing their payment, they could prepay it knowing they're going to get it back if they ever refinanced. So they can only pay so many fees and percentage to their loan amount.
So, Dave, that was an awesome question because it goes right in line with what I was about to say. So, tossing this back to you, okay, you want to save that $329 a month for your first 12 payments.
Yes.
And you want to save the $168 a month for your next 12 payments after that. Let's go back to the quick example I did a minute ago. Let's say you're going to borrow $250,000.
Okay.
The seller doesn't want to pay it. So you're going to add $6,000 to the sales price. When you add that $6,000 to the sales price, saying, hey, Mr. Seller, I'm going to give you $6,000 more so that you'll do this buy down for me, you know how much that raises your monthly payment on that $250,000 loan? $42 a month. So you're paying $42 a month.
Yes.
Because you raised the price by $6,000. You gave the seller that extra $6,000 so they'd pay the buy down for you.
And I'm saving the $329.
You're going to save $329 for the first year and $168 for the second year. And the cost of doing that and giving the seller $6,000 more in their sales price, that's $42 a month. Does that math work for you?
Yes.
Yeah. We don't want to make this too confusing, but Dave, we're saving money all across the board here.
Yeah.
And again, think about it long term.
That's right.
And short term, I guess. You're thinking about short term, I'm going to save this on payments. Long term, I can go back and refi.
Wally is always a wealth of information across many topics. This is right in your wheelhouse, Chris. So I want to direct people to give you a call about questions. How can they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. 405-253-2276 is the best way. 405-253-2276. We'd love to hear from them, take care of them, and make sure they are making proper decisions.
Dave always talks about coming out and seeing our open houses on the weekend. What happens if somebody needs your help on the weekend, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got someone on call almost all weekends from 12 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays at that number. And you can text or call, and we'll be available.
Great segment, Chris. So glad you were here. Thanks for taking your time out of your day, especially here on a Saturday. Let's go watch some football today.
Thanks for having me.
To schedule an appointment with Wally Kerr to help you or a family member buy or sell a home, call or text at 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Wally will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show right here on KOKC.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. From knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758. Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233, Equal Housing Lender.
Looking for your dream home? They're hard to find right now, aren't they? The best homes are being gobbled up quickly by home buyers like you who are finding the best homes at the best prices before you can get to them. Feeling frustrated? Stop the insanity and get on board with a real estate team that will do the work for you. We've got access to off-market homes that other agents don't know about and other buyers can't find. Why? My Guaranteed Home Sale program brings me home sellers every week who would like me to buy their home right now. We call it shadow inventory. Many of these sellers are ready to sell, but just aren't ready to put their home on the market. And some of them want the process to be quick and easy without having to get their home ready and endure a string of showings. Make sense? If you'd like to access these homes and other off-market properties, call me today. Tell me you heard the show when you call. Let's find your perfect home together. I'm Wally Kerr at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, 330-3000. Call me today at 330-3000.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
Wally, we're back. I was watching one of those beachfront property shows where they go down to like Alabama and Florida, which I love watching those. And I think, oh, if I had the money to buy one of those vacation homes down there. And then you see a couple moving from Jersey, or they live in Jersey or Michigan or something like that, and they just want a summer home, and I'm thinking, well, that's nice. And then they buy it, and then they gut it, and they do all this work to it. So they must have tons of cash to be buying these second residences. And I know that real estate is typically a good long-term investment, and they're making investments on another home. Maybe they're going to rent it out during the summer or whatever they want to do. The average metro home appreciating in Oklahoma City, you mentioned, what, north of 30% or so in the last couple of years?
Yeah, we talked about that last week, 30 to 35% appreciation or more just in the last 3 years.
So tell me about these high net worth individuals that really drive their purchases into these second residences.
Sure. So I did some research on this, Dave, and of course I have some friends who are wealthy and they have second homes, and it's interesting why they want these. There's typically three reasons. One is just plain travel. A lot of people just have a favorite destination. I love the beach.
Yes.
You mentioned beachfront,
Yes.
and I love the beach. So sometimes it's simplicity. Sometimes it's convenience. Peace of mind as to where you're going. Is it safe?
Sure.
But for us, it's just enjoyment to travel only a few hours, be so far from home, and be sitting in front of the ocean. But for some people, it also signifies sophistication and even opulence inside their lives.
Sure.
Number two is a lifestyle. For a lot of people with second homes, it's having the world at their fingertips, and these ultra high net worth individuals can follow their personal lives, their professional lives, and their recreational pursuits that are only available in specific locations.
Sure.
You know, for instance, I've got a good friend named Tracy King, who is in our franchise, who is in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Okay, that's a nice area, right?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's in the Great Smoky Mountains. And he talked to us years ago, and I will tell you this, I probably should have invested before that, because if you think it's great that the real estate values went up here in Oklahoma, oh my. So in these resort areas, those property values went and skyrocketed.
Oh, wow.
So he said, hey, would you like to buy a cabin in the Great Smoky Mountains? Why didn't we do it? Well, Cindy and I thought it would be just too far to travel. But we should have done that probably and said, let's go there once a year, once every other year, but make it a short-term rental or an Airbnb.
Yes.
And so for a lot of people, it's the lifestyle you want to lead. Maybe you want to lay in front of the beach like Wally does.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to go to the Great Smoky Mountains.
You live in the
hike.
city, you want to get away, and maybe you like beaches. You go to Cancun. You live in the city, you want to get away. Maybe you want to go to Colorado or someplace. You're right. It's really a change of climate, a change of scenery, and you can do that if you have another residence.
So, Dave, what a lot of these ultra-high net worth buyers, which is our segment today, are looking for is, and these secondary homes that they buy provide a haven where they and their families can find calm and quiet.
Just relax.
That's right. Maybe they've got a super busy lifestyle. They target prime locations in both domestic but also in international markets, including luxury resort towns, even upscale urban areas. Let's say it's like Chicago.
Yes.
I've got friends that love to travel to Chicago, and they always mention the food. But they also like to fly internationally, and they love to go to Italy. So they're looking for, whether it's an expansive country estate or, again, maybe in an upscale urban area where you can walk to restaurants and not have to drive, Overseas properties in popular vacation destinations, are regularly sought after. And through the robustness of the region's real estate market and local tax regulations and cultural appeal, they can have a significant influence on what this buyer is going to buy. Like you were talking about, a beachfront villa.
Yes.
You're going to look at what the HOA fees are,
Sure,
right?
yes.
You probably have the money to where you don't have to worry about that. But some people are going for beachfront. Some people want ski in and ski out chalets.
Oh, that would be nice.
If you love to snow ski, downtown penthouses, historic mansions. So the precise types of properties vary with the buyer's preferences and objectives. And they want amenities like pools. They want a gym where they can work out when they're gone. They want a spa to be pampered, and even chef's kitchens, and maybe even someone who's cooking all your meals for you. Maybe a wine cellar if you're a wine connoisseur. And so the proximity to lifestyle and recreational activities are just characteristics that the majority of clients are looking for in those second homes.
Okay, so obviously, if I'm looking to buy a home, a castle, a chalet in Monte Carlo, I know I can call up Wally and he's going to set me up. But I may not fall into that high net worth category. So let's talk about what to consider when you need to buy or sell at the same time. This can get kind of tricky.
So that's a nice transition, Dave, into what you should consider if you're thinking about selling and buying at the same time. Let's talk about that. We've alluded to how much homes have appreciated.
Yes.
Dave, for most homeowners today, you probably have a big down payment to work with. You got a lot of equity in your home because it's increased so much in value. So, and if you're downsizing, you may just be able to go pay cash. That's what I see a lot of these California buyers doing. People that are moving here from Virginia, from California, from a much more expensive market. Maybe it's Phoenix to be closer to the kids or grandkids. Maybe they sell a home for $1 million and come here and wow, they could buy the same home or better for $500,000. So a lot of people are paying cash. But otherwise, if you can't pay cash, you probably have a pretty big down payment, and maybe you could afford to own two homes at the same time. But be careful in this current market about doing that. We're going to talk about that more here in just a moment. Rates are up, right, Dave?
Yes.
That's certainly something to consider today.
Yep.
It's going to cost you more money to buy that second home if you need to take a mortgage. They basically doubled over the last year. So you're going to get far less home for your money unless you consider a buy down like we just talked about with Chris. And I think that's a great option today. One of the other things we talked about, Dave, is just sellers are more willing to work with you because the market's just less competitive right now, right?
Yes, it is.
There's fewer buyers and there's more sellers. And if you're serious about selling your home and you're not sitting on the market for a long time, you may need to take some action. So thinking about selling and buying at the same time, 2 years ago, for instance, most sellers wouldn't even consider taking an offer from you if it was contingent upon selling your home. That doesn't surprise you, does it?
No, not at all.
I mean, the market was so hot that maybe a seller would get 8 offers on their home, and one of them would say, well, we need to sell our home first. And the seller would just draw a big X with a Sharpie on that offer.
They're out.
Yeah, they're out. So let me look at the other 7 great offers that I've got here.
Sure.
It's changed. We're not seeing as many multiple offers today. Those multiple offers are typically on a home in a really hot area, a total remodel, or maybe at a hot price point, like under $200,000. We did this past week. Cody Crawford on my team, Dave, listed a home here in Northwest Oklahoma City for one of our what we call lifetime customers.
Sure.
It was $170,000. I think he said he got 6 offers.
Oh,
so
wow.
there are still some multiple offers out there.
Okay.
But if you're selling one home and buying another one, you're probably not buying another one that's $170,000.
Sure.
And if you are, you might be paying cash for it because you're downsizing. If your current home's a good one and priced right, I still want to encourage our listeners that it could sell quickly. But there's always that risk of owning one home and turning around and buying another one. We call it the real estate catch-22.
Okay.
And it's why Cindy and I created this thing called our guaranteed home sale program.
Yes, that's a big help.
That says if you are stepping out of one home and buying another property under certain conditions, that we'll go in and agree to buy your current home in an agreed period if it hasn't sold and at a price that we agree to up front. That helps people step from one house to another one without that long-term risk of holding 2 homes for a long time. Let's just remember that selling first, what do? Do you put your house on the market first, or do you go find another home and buy it before you've sold yours.
Do you kind of do both? Does it really depend?
And that's the topic here. So let's talk about each one of those scenarios. Okay. So if you sell first, it could put pressure on you. Well, let's do a quick one. Somebody breaks their leg and their bedroom's upstairs.
Yes.
Maybe all the bedrooms are upstairs. So now you're forced to sleep on the couch in the living room. You say, I got to sell my home now.
Yes.
So you go throw it on the market, but you don't know where you're going to move. And there's not as many homes on the market today.
Sure.
So you've got the pressure of saying, now I've suddenly got a buyer interested in my home. I've looked around, but I really didn't find the perfect home, and I hate to just buy because I have to. So going in and selling first, you might have to go lease. How long are you going to have to lease?
Sure, would money it be out of your pocket?
That's right. So if you just can't find, what we're saying is you're selling, now you can't find that suitable replacement home. Think about having to lease and how long that's going to have to last. What the storage costs would be for taking your things and put them in storage if you're going to move into a lease or an apartment. And then just the uncertainty of not knowing what rates are going to do in the future. We talk about that a lot on the show, and we really don't know what's going to happen next week or next month, but we're trying to speculate as to what's going to happen. Finally, if you go buy first, it could lead to a weaker offer on your home. And so I've told clients over the years, Dave, when you move out and your home is vacant, people can do courthouse research and figure out you got a mortgage on your home.
Sure, yes.
So a lot of times a vacant home will show motivation to sell.
Yep.
So if you move too quick, let's say you have the ability and the means to go buy another home, you make enough income, you go ahead and buy it, and you say, I want to go move into the new place. Can you imagine how many people say that?
Oh,
it's like
excited.
Everybody,
yeah, you're
right?
always excited to move into the new home.
Out with the old and in with the new. So you move into the new. Now your old house is sitting. The older that house is, the more scrapes and bumps and nicks it shows on the inside.
Yes.
The older it is, the more nicks and scrapes and bumps. So you move out thinking that you want to get into the new home. Now you're trying to sell this home. It's sitting on the market. It's vacant. And especially in this market where the number of homes is going up and fewer buyers, now you're looking like a very motivated seller.
You're going to have to be very creative. You're going to have to market well, and you're going to have to do everything you can to help out the buyer as well. You're going to have to help them win if you want to sell your house.
You are. And sometimes helping them win means you might have to come down on price. Nobody wants to come down on price. It's more a subject now because of the way the market has changed. So selling and buying at the same time, there's a way to get it done. There are good ways to get it done. And if you need advice on how to get that done and what scenario is best for you, financing, bridge loans,
yes.
That's a loan against your current home to move into the next one. Perhaps you have a very large amount of equity. Let's talk about that real fast. Let's say you have a $300,000 home and you only owe $100 on it.
Sure.
You have $200,000 equity. Normally the bank will loan you 80% of that. So that would be $160,000.
Yes.
That would certainly take care of a down payment,
yes.
Closing costs, maybe a buy down, and maybe you could afford to keep your old home that's worth $300,000 and buy a new one. But again, beware of this current market and going into the coldest time of the year and the holidays. Call me if you need advice and want to talk to us about what we call our guaranteed home sale program.
Yes.
We can also provide cash offers. The guaranteed program, again, very simple. Your home sold guaranteed at a price agreeable to you, or we'll buy it. And I'm happy to visit with anyone that would like to know more. Call me anytime at 330-3000.
You can also text Wally at 330-3000.
Or, I don't think I've ever given my email address on the phone. It's just Wally at kerrteam.com, KERRTEAM.com.
Yes.
And you can email your questions for our show. We love our call-ins, and we didn't have time to get any done today.
Yes.
If you've got a question about real estate, and let me emphasize, I tell my newest agents this when I train them, when we hire new people, there are no dumb questions in real estate.
No.
There are none. So give us a call and record your question any time of day, any day of the week. It's a recorded line, 1-844-211-3817, and it's ID number 1234. So when you call, record your question, make it as long or short as you like. We'll play it on the air, and we'll answer it on one of our next shows.
Absolutely. Stick around. We're going to wrap things up in just a minute.
The market is shifting. Do you know what to do? If you're selling a home, you need to realize that market demand is changing, and it's changing now. More homes are coming on the market than homes that are actually selling. So the inventory is going up. What does rising inventory mean? Prices can soften. It's important you get on the train right now and understand what you need to do to sell a home. First of all, my guaranteed home sale program will create more demand for your home because I can buy someone else's home so that they can buy yours. If you're thinking about selling by owner, I can create more demand for your home than you can ever create on your own. I'm Wally Kerr, and I believe in aggressive marketing. My wife and I have done this for 36 years together, and we now have a team of 28 people. If you'd like to create more demand for your home so that your home will sell faster and for top dollar, give me a call today at 405-330-4000 at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I'd love to meet with you and discuss a strategy and plan for getting your home sold. Call me at 330-4000. I look forward to talking to you myself.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758. Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233. Equal housing lender.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
Wally, as we wrap it up today, and for anyone joining us late, let's do a quick review of what we discussed on the show today. Transparency when selling, getting an inspection up front that you can share with a home buyer to set the stage for a smoother transaction, more trust. Everyone wins. Like you said, it's sort of offering a Carfax report when selling a home.
Yeah,
right?
That's exactly what it is, Dave. It's called getting on the same page with the buyer and seller, understanding the buyer really needs a worry-free purchase. This is already a big deal for them in purchasing a home, and it benefits the seller to kind of get that pre-inspection, that Carfax report, if you will, so that you're identifying the potential issues with your home. Maybe you take care of those up front, you get them cured. You're showing the buyer and saying, I cared enough to go get that inspection done, find out what was there, and not only did I find out what was there, but I went in and got it fixed.
And I think transparency equals honesty.
Well, I think that's the big one, right?
Yes,
You're saying, you can trust me. I'm looking for problems too, not just you.
Yes.
Because I want this to be a good real estate transaction, right?
Exactly. And we also finished part 5 today of what not to say when selling your home. This has been fantastic. I've learned a lot during these segments. And finally, I really have enjoyed the talk the last couple of weeks on buy downs. Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage was talking about the 2-1 buy down today in conquering home affordability, how to get into it and not jump right in on that 7.5%, how to really kind of get that buy down, start off about 5.5%, save $300-$500 a month, which is fantastic.
Yeah, the buy down we looked at today was saving on a $250,000 mortgage, saving about $330 a month for the first year. So buy downs are helping us in our industry because people are turning to me and asking those questions. You know, Wally, I really would like to buy a home right now, but I just hate these interest rates. So how can you help? And those buy downs are really a good option.
And we also finished with 5 things to consider when buying and selling at the same time, which for me, that'd be a little scary, but you gave some great advice.
I think it's important to recognize that there are still people that need to buy and sell. Maybe it's work-related, maybe it is health-related, maybe it is a family change.
Sure.
Again, we talk about 2 people getting married and each one having kids, wanting to have all the kids together for the holidays.
Yep.
Maybe it's a split and a separation. Maybe it's a fact of moving mom or dad in with you. So there are people still today relocating, moving here, job change, job loss, that need to go in and sell and perhaps buy another home in some cases. And so we gave some good examples there. And again, if you've got a real estate question that you'd like to hear us answer on the show, pre-record it any time of day, 1-844-211-3817. And when you call in, it's just ID number 1234. Love to answer your questions and looking forward to being back with you again next week, Dave.
It's noon. Some games have already kicked off, so I'm going to watch some college football. You go sell some homes and have a great Saturday.
Thanks, Dave.
You've been listening to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr. Heard every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. and replayed on Sundays at noon here on 1520 a.m. and 95.3 FM KOKC. Wally's name is his promise. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. To speak with Wally directly about selling your home or buying, call or text him to schedule an appointment at 405-330-3000, 405-330-3000, or go to wallysguarantee.com. That's wallysguarantee.com.